it's Jonathan. What up? Welcome back to another video, and today is Wheel of Time Wednesday. If you're new to the fandom, you may not have heard that term because it's something we haven't used in a very long time, and it relates to way back before the first season aired of the show, and the production team and the cast and crew would release stuff on, back then, Twitter, now X, or other forms of social media to kind of tease the fans and get us ready for the show, and it always happened on a Wednesday, so the fandom kind of coined the term Wheel of Time Wednesday. That kind of went to the wayside after season 1 was done because there was almost no marketing or engagement for season 2. Now, it was partly because the marketing was terrible for the show and partly because there was a lot of strikes going on at the time, so the cast, crew, and production team couldn't really engage. And I'm going to be honest with you, they were the ones that really did the bulk of engaging with the fandom online. It wasn't really the marketing stuff. It was more driven by the production team and the cast and crew. So we haven't seen a What Wednesday or a Wheel of Time Wednesday in quite some time. So I'm going to bring it back. Today we're going to do a Wheel of Time leaks video. I have a number of them for you folks. Expect them to release on Wednesdays for the next foreseeable future. Yes, I have that many, and we're going to start dropping them because right now I open up X, or I open up Instagram, or I open up basically any social media platform I have, like Threads or Facebook. It's all Rings of Power all the time. It's just completely dominated by Rings of Power. The marketing campaign for it is absolutely stellar. I will say that. There's been a ton out there. They released some really cool things in London recently, but it's not Wheel of Time. And I want to bring the conversation, at least in our fandom, back to the Wheel of Time for a little bit because, let's face it, there's still a lot of time before season 3 and not much is being said about the Wheel of Time. So in this long preamble, basically what it boils down to is expect some leaks from me over the next coming weeks. And if you're new to the channel and you don't know what we do here, I think I've affectionately been called the Wheel of Time TMZ. So we do leaks, news, rumors, official stuff, everything and anything about the show or just Wheel of Time in general, whether it be merchandise or fan-made stuff. We host that here in the channel. So if you like Wheel of Time, make sure you subscribe to the channel, tell 2 of your friends. And like I said in my last video, if you're already subbed, check to make sure you're still subbed because some people have been unsubbed unwillingly, and I'm still getting messages about that. So just check your subscriptions. Now, before we get into the leaks video today, I do have to give a bit of a spoiler warning since we're talking about elements of the book series and the show. So, spoiler warning, if you have not read the first 4 books of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, that's The Eye of the World Through the Shadow Rising, and have not seen the first 2 seasons of the Prime Video show, streaming right now on Prime Video, be forewarned, I may ruin plot points and character arcs from both of those mediums. That being said, let's get on to the rest of the video. Alright, at this point you probably have noticed, or you should have noticed, there's a giant Aiel chapter icon on the screen. Now, if you haven't read the book series, chapter icons start at the beginning of every chapter, and they let you know what the chapter is going to be about. And there's a bunch of them that reoccur all the way through the series. This one basically means the chapter is going to be about Aiel. So, if you haven't already guessed, this video is going to be about Aiel in Season 3. So we know a couple of the roles of a couple of the Aiel in Season 3. Now, if you remember, way back in March of this year, WoTSeries.com released an article with some potential cast members, and they knew, or they thought they knew, they would be in Season 3, but they didn't really have concrete proof of a few things. They didn't know their roles. They just happened to be in the right place at the right time when the Wheel of Time was being filmed, and they were also in the right social media posts. So I reached out to a few people I know, and a source close production confirmed to me a couple of things. So I do know 2 of these actors that was in that article, and I know their roles. So if you want to read the article, when you're done the video, it's linked down below in the description box if you folks want to check it out. I will forever and always plug WoTSeries in every single video I do. I truly believe that without them, the show probably would not do as well as it had. Mainly because they do more marketing and talk about the show more often and come out with more information than every other source, including all the official sources combined, and they don't get near enough credit for it. So if you don't know who WoTSeries is, or you haven't already bookmarked their page, please go there when you're done the video, bookmark their page, and then check it like compulsively, daily, because they come out with all kinds of really great Wheel of Time stuff all the time. All right, so in that particular article that we have linked down below, there were a few actors. Now, one of the actors was Ferdinand McKay. He's a Scottish actor, relatively new to acting. He has done a lot of theater stuff. He has done some spoken word. He likes to rap as well. And also Kiren Kebali-Dwyer. Now, he is also relatively new to acting, and they were both speculated as being part of the show, but no roles were listed, and they didn't really know exactly how they're going to fit in. I can tell you for sure that Kiren is going to be playing Charlene, and Ferdinand is going to be playing Elijah. Now, if those names don't ring huge bells right off the top of your head, it's because they're small parts in the books, but very, very important ones. So, in the book series, the Aiel are sort of a warrior society. They are the perfect epitome of warriors. So when they talk about Aiel, they talk about them as being fierce, dangerous, stealthy, can blend into their environment, are great hunters, are great at finding and foraging for food, can find water almost anywhere, and they live in the waste, which is a desolate, vast desert that just kills anyone with any kind of weakness in it whatsoever. And they thrive there. So they're really hardy, they're really fierce, and they're absolutely almost unparalleled warriors in the Wheel of Time series. They weren't always that way, though. So, way back before the breaking, there was a different type of Aiel. These were the Dachshund Aiel. They basically were servants, and they followed the way of the leaf. So they thought they could do no violence, no harm. They served the Aes Sedai, both men and women, because they were both men and women Aes Sedai back then. And they basically, through acts of service and acts of peace, became really notable in their time. Now, they were known to not do any sort of violence whatsoever, and it was always told that they would never pick up a sword, and that kind of filtered all the way through to modern day Aiel. They still won't pick up a sword in today's day and age, but they don't remember their roots. They don't remember how they became Aiel. And that's part of what Rand reveals to them during the Shadow Rising, and part of the reason why the Aiel know him as the Chief of Chiefs, the Kara, because he does talk about their real, true history. Now, Elijah and Charlin were Dachshund Aiel, and this was after the breaking. And one of the members of their little band of Aiel that were traveling, a couple of members rather, were kidnapped by bandits. And they were part of the party that went out after the bandits. They picked up spears because spears weren't technically a weapon. They were a tool used for hunting, so they thought they were being kind of smart about getting around the rules. They killed a few people. A couple of them got killed themselves, including Elijah. They came back with the members that were kidnapped. Now, Charlin and Elijah were both brothers. Elijah obviously didn't make it. He does get killed in the series, but that was the very first instance of someone becoming a modern day Aiel. These Aiel were people who kind of they forsaken the way of the leaf, and they realized and recognized that they lived in a dangerous world, and they had to be dangerous themselves in order to survive. And that was what started all of the modern day Aiel in the book series and in the show as well. So while they're not massive roles, they are incredibly important to the Wheel of Time. They're incredibly important to the show and to the history. So I'm very excited to see this. Now, we've already had tons of hints that Rand will walk through the columns. We'll see Rodion in Season 3. Rafe Judkins has said it a number of times in interviews. We've had a few leaks about it, a few things that we'd see there. And in fact, some of the leaks that I have in the coming weeks have to do with Rodion and certain things that are happening there. We'll talk about that in just a bit. So I'm really excited that we get to see this. We get to see a bunch of flashbacks, and I'm kind of hoping to dedicate an entire episode just to Rodion, just to the flashbacks, to give everyone an idea of the history of the Wheel of Time, history of the Aiel. I think it would be super neat. Now, let me know in the comments down below what you folks think. I know a lot of people are saying this needed to happen in the show, and we pretty much have confirmation that it is now, so I'm incredibly happy about it. Let me know what you folks think down below. Now, I do want to stop here for just a second and talk about my forthcoming leaks. Now, we're going to do this probably once a week, maybe every 2 weeks. It just depends on what's going on in my life and if I have time to record the leaks videos, but I have quite a few of them for you folks. There is a bunch more cast I'm going to reveal, and there's also things about things we're going to see next season as far as objects of power and small plot points. So we're going to talk about those things as well in some upcoming leak videos. So if you like that sort of thing, if you like leaks, if you like knowing about the Wheel of Time, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tell a few of your friends. Season 3 is coming. Yes, it's going to be next year, but it is coming soon. So let's try to grow the channel a little bit so we can spread the word of what up just a little bit further so more people can see the leaks and get excited about the show and get excited about Season 3, because I think, at least from everything I've seen so far, it's going to absolutely dwarf Season 1 and 2 in comparison. Now, most people I've talked to say that Season 2 is leaps and bounds ahead of Season 1. And this includes people who absolutely loathe the show. They've watched both seasons, and even people who don't like the show will agree that Season 2 was way ahead of Season 1 as far as production value, story, writing, everything. It was just way better. I can pretty much confidently tell you that season 3 is going to be about the same gap, about the same leap ahead as season 2 was to season 1. So it's going to be huge. There's a lot of really cool things that are coming. I'm very excited for it, and let's try to drum up some support outside of the fandom as well. Tell people that have never seen the show. Tell people that have never read the books. Start reading the books. Pick up the books. Start watching the show, because it is coming, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So thank you so very much for sticking with us here to the very end. Here's to many more.